Welcome to Under the Sun podcast. I'm Ilea.
And I'm Irene. Grab a cup of coffee and your comfiest sweats and join us every Monday as two best friends discuss everything from raising free-range gremlins to business and really everything under the sun.
Let's get started, and thanks for being here. Look at us podcasting.
I know.
From afar.
Technology. Sometimes it's beneficial.
Do you want to update why we're doing it in this new fancy way?
Yeah. The fellas they filmed with all of our podcasting gear. Mostly Jacob's podcasting. Most of Jacob's actual professional career gear.
How dare you have jobs?
I know. But they filmed a really cool video of a bunch of ex-Navy SEALs. So that was super fun for them. But when I left for work today, I was like, okay, bye. I'll see you after the podcast. He's like, oh, I have all of the gear here at home and it's going to take 2 or 3 hours to set up and I can't today. I was like, all right, Squadcast it is.
Yep. Which we use this. Yeah, we use this platform when we interviewed Kim. So let us know what you guys thought of that. We know that there are some delays in audio. It's like I had a hard time. Sometimes like our audios would get off and I could have gone through and like scooched everything, but it would have taken forever. And
a lot of effort.
I was like, luckily we have an audience that's very forgiving, and
we're just doing our best.
We're doing our best, and instead of like where we could have canceled this, we just want to take that like 1% better every day. Just keep our head down and keep going.
Because we have not missed a week. We have not missed a week, have we?
No,
right?
And I counted the other day in total episodes, like even like prior with like Emily on the show, there's 52 total episodes. And then so for you and I, it's almost 40.
That's amazing.
38, I think is what I remember. But
that's awesome.
But to back up a little bit, so my husband and her husband, Jacob and Dave, do you think someday they're going to be like, stop saying our husbands like we don't know who they are.
Know.
We know who they are. But they were, like Irene said, we're recording an not old Navy SEAL. I think he's a retired Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
He's going to come on our podcast and talk to us about female defense. I'm so excited.
Also, they offered Jacob, they said they'd come on the podcast and they offered Jacob all this extensive training. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, maybe my wife can just have my ticket. I was like, yes. So.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I've been training for this day since I was 5.
I think you would do an excellent job.
I would love it.
We should.
Because I am out in the workforce all the time in mall shopping center like settings. So on a serious note, like I have my plans for, as much as you can plan for if there's a home intruder, but there's so many different variables when you're out in public that.
Oh man, yeah.
It'd be nice to have a little bit of extra training, just tactically. So I'm pretty excited.
And he was actually at our house the other day because he was looking at some of the footage that the guys got.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I want to take like your course. And Dave was like, oh, like the whatever the advanced course he took with him, because it's like Navy SEAL legit training. And he was like, Dave was like, you don't like. He's like, in what scenario are you going to be using our big, I don't remember sign language. You know what I mean? The 15. No, ABs. I'd have to go through the whole alphabet to get there. Right. Okay. Our big one, because we don't want to be canceled and shut off YouTube, but like, and me not be there. So he was like, and then Ben was like, you should use your pistol and do that class. Cause I was like,
that's what I assumed I would just train with.
Well, yeah, because that's the more likely scenario because that's what I carry all the time out in public. Anyways, I'm excited to have him on.
I told Jacob I needed one. He said, no, you don't.
Yes, you do. What?
He said, you don't need to have one because you're going to end up on a watch list. It's like, I'm already on watch list.
Yeah, you are part of the
3-digit thing. Yeah, I'm already on a list. Yeah.
Yeah, you're on a list for sure.
Yeah.
We're all on lists.
So
if you look me up, it's like I'm a hazard. Because actually my sister was looking something up and my dad and I are both on watch lists for like conspiratorial crap. So if I ever go missing, I will never unalive myself. Just so we're all on the same page.
Yep.
Some maintenance, some family, not family meeting, but like just updates. So we had 2 guests the last 2 weeks. So we had Chris talking about witchcraft. So I just think this is all very interesting. I told you this, or at least I posted it on Instagram. You've just been so busy. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I posted the reels that I posted on Instagram, YouTube with Chris. Okay. Posted it, whatever. And then I usually like to go to my personal YouTube to go and engage with it and just like leave a comment or heart or something, because I have more following there and it usually helps the algorithm. Guys, I know this is lame, but this is what I do. Like, we're trying to build a platform. So I'm trying to, get the algorithm in our favor. Within the time it took me to I posted it, and I think I put Leo down to sleep. And by the time I came back, I went to go engage with it, and then a pop-up said is this a welcoming video? Is it a, I can't remember the verbiage they said, is this a harassment video? Does it contain aggressive, harmful, suicidal commentary?
Yeah, you did tell me this.
It's that's weird. It's not even kind of about that, but I'm pretty sure we were shadow banned pretty quickly, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And then,
which is, you go for it.
No, go ahead. If it's
mine's not important at all.
Mine's not really important. I mean, but then we had Kim on the podcast, and the reel that we posted. I mean, we posted a couple of reels so far, and there'll be more, but has already over 1 million views in 4 days.
That's amazing.
So, I mean, a lot of people are
mostly because people are angry with us. Always angry at us.
They're not angry at us. They're angry at Kim, which I'm not happy about. But
that's right. For once, it's not directly. Well, can you imagine us topping on the next one with Ben? Is that his name? I only know his not stage name, but his stage name.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That one's going to get us a lot of flack, but also he's a professional, so it's not like.
So here's the thing.
I'm ready for it.
People love to comment this is hold on, let me back up. They love to comment that this is misinformation. This is all lies. And it's you're not following the science. There's no studies. And I'm it depends on what research paper you look at. I can fully recognize that are we 100% right on everything all of the time? No, but we can definitely find studies that back up what we're talking about. And we have found studies. And
no matter which direction you are.
Yeah. And so
at that point, you have to use your brain.
Yes, when you're screaming, this is misinformation, what you're actually saying is, I don't like what you're saying, and I'm going to choose, I'm going to take this research study that was paid for by the pharmaceutical industry or by Bill Gates or something, and I'm going to choose this one and then be really aggressive and negative and stupid towards you guys because I just don't agree with you. And it's very dumb. Honestly, they look really dumb. I don't know what goes through people's minds. I see things all the time that I'm I don't agree with this. Scroll. I see it all the time. It's not that hard. But I think it's a whole other conversation we need to talk about someday, of the epidemic of loneliness, and nobody has community anymore, and they're lonely, and the only I don't know, dopamine hit they get is being a troll on Facebook. Plus a lot of them are bots anyways. But
yeah, that's so crazy too. What I was going to say earlier, though, is on our personal YouTubes versus Under the Sun's YouTube, for a while, even on Chasing Mountains, Jake would always tell me, hey, go interact with our shorts from your YouTube, because YouTube, if a bigger, I say that loosely because I'm not that big, but if a bigger channel interacts with a smaller channel, YouTube takes the smaller channel more serious. So for a while, I was their highest subscriber, which was funny because I don't have that many. But on the shadow banning side, you're good at using your personal voice to say whatever you need to say. I keep mine super separate because I want the money from the hair side to support my family. But
my career went down in flames already. What else am I gonna do?
But it's interesting because I'll go like and engage it, but then if people go to my YouTube and don't see me share, I fully support everything we say. I also just want to not have to work 75,000 hours a week if I don't have to.
Well, here's the thing. We have to, with everything, like, there's a lot of people saying, like, why haven't we said anything about what's happening in Israel and Palestine? We've had lots of messages about that. I just delete them because I'm like, listen, not every voice needs to be yelling the same thing or a different thing maybe that someone's not going to agree with, because like not everybody needs to have their hand in every single world event.
Yeah.
You know,
if we're not a news channel, we are two friends chatting together. We're not
right.
here to
And
report
just
on
like
world news.
freaking I mean, we're not like celebrities. We ain't got the money like they got, but just like them, like they shouldn't be saying anything because they're idiots, and we can just recognize like this is not our specialty. You want to talk about parasites, you want to talk about motherhood, you want to talk about those things, great, we're here for you. We are not your news source. Allie Beth Stuckey has a really great podcast talking all about that stuff, but like that's not us unless we get to a certain point where we can have a guest on who can explain it. But
also, how many people yelling on both sides? Like if I pulled up a map of the Middle East, I bet very few of them could actually even say, oh, this is Palestine. Oh, this is this, which I shouldn't even say that word. Now we're going to get shadow banned for this video. But like, if you can't find it on a map and don't know at least the last decades of their own personal world history, you shouldn't be throwing out your opinion, which is why I don't say anything, because I know what I believe from like a biblical standpoint. But I mean, I couldn't pinpoint the two on a map. So who am I to throw my opinion out there in a country I don't live in?
Here's the thing, though, like,
go here.
Here's the thing, but that's maturity saying like, like I know enough to have an opinion, but like I also don't need to share all my opinions all the time. Like that's just maturity and growing up and being like, this is. People be, where's your stance? Why are you posting, terrible selfies? Anyways, but I'm happy with how our guest interviews went. Y'all let us know what you thought, and we have more guests coming up. Very exciting guests.
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
Me too.
It's just going places, but anything else you want to talk about before we get into our Thanksgiving podcast?
I don't think so. I'm in my office, distracted by how messy it is. So if I keep looking around, it's because it's disgusting in here. But I do have snacks, so
that looks awesome. Yeah.
Also snacks. 80/20.
It's very crunchy. Please don't eat that, man. Like mute yourself if you're going to eat that.
Awful crackling.
Yeah. But this is
chompy meat stick.
Did we say that this is like? Yeah, you did. That the guys were recording, so we had to do this. So like, it's not like it's not like the salon is already closed or anything. It's just this is doing the best we can.
No, we're still like, you can probably hear my employees are still out there with clients, so you may even through the headphones or through the audio on this be able to hear some random bits of conversation and the occasional blow dryer, but
yeah. So it might not be. I mean, it's definitely not going to be the most perfect recording because connections, the delays and stuff, and the platform we use is a little clunky. But we're doing the best we can with what we got, and just doing it. So
yes.
Today we're going to talk about, well, for one thing, just the things that we are grateful for that have happened to us in 2023. Yeah. And also like tips on how to be thankful and grateful this season, because it can be it's the world's a little heavy right now, so we just need to some tips and stuff. So do you want to start with just what we're thankful for?
I'm actually, it's gonna sound so dumb, but I mean it with my entire soul, but I'm really thankful for this community that we've started establishing.
You stole mine. It's on my list.
What? Oh.
I said it was on my list.
Well, even since we posted that last video, I have had people reach out and just say super kind things about all the things happening on the business end. So it's just, I don't know, it's really sweet. So
yeah, it's also good seeing like familiar, like what is it called? Instagram handles, like going after people, a little bit. Like, it's like, oh, like I recognize that person's name, like they've messaged us or whatever. And they're like, excuse me, you don't know, like you didn't even listen to the full episode. And it's like, thank you. Because sometimes I get a little defensive because especially if we have a guest, that's when I get like, you can talk crap about me. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I don't, but if you talk crap about our guests and it's like not accurate, then I feel like it's our duty a little, but then you can only keep up so much. So
well, especially if they didn't even try to like research the person that was on the podcast. They just
read the description of the post.
Well, even with
it's like this is a 60-second clip from a 1-hour episode.
Well, like the Bucket Baby one too. It's like, who is this lady? She doesn't know anything. She's not even a doctor. I'm like, I just stopped commenting. She has her doctorate. And go research someone before you just say stuff. But again,
it's also, it's like right there. It's like Bucket Baby, whatever the title was. And it says Dr. Lauren Jordan. And it's like, what are you talking about? I want to have her on for like a Where's the Bucket Lady Now?
Yes.
Because she's a good friend of mine. And I'd love to talk to her. When we posted the Parasite episode, she texted me. She was like, oh my gosh, I'm ordering the kit now. But she's breastfeeding right now. So Lauren, if you're listening to this, hello.
It's fun. I had a post I was going to say. I got a screenshot from an email. And it's not going to pop up. Hold that thought. Give another thing you're grateful for while I find it. Because it's...
I have a lot. I mean, I made 10, but I don't know if I need to say all 10, but obviously this goes without saying. I feel like it lame saying it, but like my family, my kids, like my extended family, the close community of friends that we have. Like last night, we just had our Friendsgiving with our friend Taylor and then Jake and everything. We played Rumicube and Slaps and a game called BS, but my grandma liked to call I Doubt It because she thought BS was too rude. And it's just fun. Like it was fun. So I'm grateful for that because I feel like for many, many years, like besides like you and Jake and then another couple that we all used to work with, like we didn't really like hang out with anybody outside of that, which is, it's okay to be like, have close friends. Yeah. But I don't know. Like Dave came from a
community.
Yeah. Community is good. And like people to challenge you or to talk to, or to, send a selfie of like surviving. Like, you just need people to Marco Polo and be like, today's not the day, but that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
One of the other things is I found it. It was an email we got, was it yesterday? That said last week alone, we had 619 podcast listens in 1 week. And I was like, what? So I'm grateful. Again, that goes back to the community, but like, that's really cool.
It is really cool. Let's look. It's kind of fun having internet. It's fun having internet. Like, so here, let me look. Okay. So, like we're consistently like when we're just going up, which is really great.
Yeah.
I think when I edit this episode, I think I might I don't know if yours is side by side.
Mine is up and down, but I did a side by side and I thought I was looking too sideways.
Am I looking too sideways? I'm looking at me. I'm looking at you. Looking at me. Looking at you. Me. You. Should have done this before.
And then I changed it last time, and now I can't change it again. So. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, but I agree with the community thing because I think, and like people are sending us stuff, like you guys talked about tallow. Here's a beef tallow person. Like I'm like,
it was really cool. We're gonna have him on the podcast too.
Yeah, good.
Soon. We get that scheduled, but we maybe found a new tallow for you guys. So far, I like it a lot. I'm pretty sold. So as long as he's not crazy, then.
Let's hope not.
Well, we have a doctor coming in too, and I told the guys, I was like, one of you should probably switch because it's a strange man flying into town from where we don't know. So probably a great guy, but just in case.
Any guess? Like I don't think a woman would drive to our podcast just to Like,
No.
I would hope not. Like, guys, don't go places alone.
Uh-uh.
But yeah, do you want to go again?
Um, yeah, I'm thankful that the transition that we're going through right now in the business, for me at least, which I have a little bit of like guilt, but also not because I worked hard for it. It's conflicting. But I'm grateful that the move for me is fairly easy. Like when we started the company, I had the phone line, I had the computer, the card processing system, 4,100 square foot worth of decor. So when I moved to the new shop, it's going to be a very smooth transition where I'm watching some people having to buy like things you don't think of that I've just had forever, like having to buy their own towels and having to buy their own capes. I was like, oh, I've had all those things for like a decade now. So
Yeah.
that move is going to be very smooth, which I'm really excited for during this season where everything's pretty hectic. But
I'm excited for you. You're just like probably lack of chaos that's going to be going on. You're just
yes.
gonna be like, I feel
Yeah.
like I should be panicking, but I'm not panicking. You know, like
Right? I got to
you're
reset my nervous
panicking. You're
system.
panicking because yeah. I'm gonna drop off my red light for you so that you can just like
I do need that.
throw it on your thyroid. I'll drop it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll talk about that afterwards. But yeah,
Okay.
I just if I'm like frazzled or stressed or not acting myself,
Mhm.
I put it right here at the base of my neck and I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like I'm not
Yeah.
that this is not medical advice. It could be unsafe cord, but like
Allegedly.
allegedly I go to sleep with the cord right under my neck. But I wake up and like I feel so damn good. So damn good.
Good.
So highly recommend.
Probably better than chugging a cold brew at 7:00 at night.
Listen, I'm having this afternoon's
There we
coffee.
go.
Like it's from 2:30 probably, but it's fine.
Oh,
It's fine.
Something we've talked about a lot before on this podcast is just taking care of yourself and filling your tank and nurturing yourself. Well, we have been really loving in my family the BioRay line. I know Dave uses a lot of it. You give a lot of it to the baby.
Yeah.
They have some really cool stuff like adrenal drops if you are a severe accidental drink only coffee all day, no water, and need some help with your adrenals. My kid loves the pooper one because she has some gut issues we're working with. There's a tummy, anything you can think of, both in adult and kid version. They also have a new teen version out there. So most of the drops go by weight. That's super helpful for me when I'm in a hurry.
It's very simple. Like you can go to their website and you basically tell them what you're kind of struggling with, and they kind of like curate this like protocol for you.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
It's really awesome. Just go take that course real quick. And if you decide to buy something and you're like, yep, this is for me, use our code.
Yeah. UTSP10 for 10% off your purchase. That helps us continue to do this podcast, which we love to do.
I'm also grateful that we both have daughters.
Oh man, I
Like, I
love
would've been
having a
fine.
daughter.
Well, I would have been fine with either of our kids being either, but the fact that we each have a little girl so close together, like
Mhm.
Nova almost fell down the stairs the other day when you FaceTimed Jacob. She was in her room and she heard your voice on Jake's phone. She started running down the stairs. I had to like grab her arm to stop her from like flying down. I was like, okay, you can call
Sweetie.
her later. You're gonna fall down the stairs. So that was
Sweet
sweet.
girl.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe this is something we can talk about. Like, I think we should talk about, things we thought we'd do as mothers that we didn't do, or have some type of motherhood podcast
Yeah.
like that.
Mhm.
But I always envisioned that I'd have all boys. I don't know why.
Mhm.
And so when I found out I was pregnant with a girl, I was like, I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, I don't know how to do this because I've only had nephews. And then Nova was only,
I always
couple-
forget that you're the baby.
and Nova was only a couple months old. Well, let's see. I found out I was pregnant in November. She was born in March, so she was like, what, 6 months old or something? 7?
She was
8?
3 months old.
What? In
Wait,
November?
No. She was
November of
she was
21.
She was a year and 3 months old when Leo was born.
Yeah, when Leo was born. So she was 6 months old when I found out I was pregnant, right?
Sure.
Because you're
Math.
10 months pregnant, right? It doesn't
Was I?
matter. Math is hard. You're. It's like 39 weeks is 10 months. It's not 9 months.
Yeah, I know.
Why do
I know.
people
Which is
do
why I
that?
keep saying I cannot get pregnant in, and now I'm forgetting, but April, because I do not want a Christmas baby.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
my window. But now I'm like, wait, is my math off? Because normally I try to be like extra careful between February and March just in case.
yeah.
Like any other time of the month is fine.
There will be no children ever I would ever announce a pregnancy at Christmas unless literally the Lord makes it happen. Like, okay. Because
Yeah.
I don't remember the math now, but like I don't want to ever have a baby in August because there's so many birthdays in our family in August. And I'm like, I don't need any more August babies. Like, get out of here. Like, no, anyways, I would love it either way.
Yeah.
Guys, relax. This is just convo, but I'm really grateful for we bought a new home in 2023 that has she needs love, but don't we all? And it's like fixing up. It's definitely not perfect. Like, I'm trying not to freak out at the fact that there's a little bit of mold on the toilet that I'm like, or on like the base of the toilet, like underneath, like at the. So I'm a little freaked out that there's a leak, TBD. But like, I'm just grateful that like we prayed for this house really hard. And coming here was actually like, so I don't know how much I've shared this on social media, or on the podcast, that like we were both working full time when I was pregnant and when Leo was born. And I didn't think I would of course I loved her when I was pregnant, but like when you meet her, it's totally different. I didn't realize, like, I was like, oh, I am not willing to send her to daycare. I'm not outsourcing motherhood that way. It's like, there's nobody in our life that I want to like raise my kid while I work this job that I wasn't super fond of. So like, in order for me to leave work, we had to sell our house and like find a different place. So like finding this house was a huge blessing. It was like, it was really affordable in the sense of with what we got, like the acreage and stuff. So I just feel like God's hand was in that a lot. And yeah, so I'm grateful for it.
That's awesome. I'm super grateful for like my relationship with my mom, which is something Jacob and I were talking about today. So I was on the phone. We'd just woken up. Well, they had woken up Nova from a nap, and I heard my mom in the background. She's like, "Yeah, let's go play with Stan. Let me change your diaper." And it was just like normal grandma things, but there's just a lot there that I'll probably never unpack online because it's not my only story to tell. But I'm just really grateful for the relationship we have now. Like, she has been here 2 weeks, and she'll be here another week, and then she comes back again on Christmas Day, and she's going to stay just short of a month. And that's just, I don't know, I'm just really grateful because I know not everybody has that type of relationship with their mom. So I'm super grateful for that this year.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
And I'm also grateful that my parents and my dad worked hard enough that she could be a stay-at-home mom, because all she ever wanted to do was stay at home and have a lot of kids. And my dad worked really hard to make that happen for her, and she stayed home and had 5 kids. And because of that, she now, like, if anytime I need her, she can, for the most part, just fly out anytime. She doesn't have to shuffle work. She doesn't have to shuffle anything. So I'm grateful for that aspect too.
She's awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad she's here.
I have also not cooked a meal in 2.5 weeks. And to be honest, I probably haven't cooked a meal for a year before that, but at least now my family's getting fed somehow.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. You took my podcast community. So even with this podcast, there's just been a lot of, for me, internal growth. Maybe it doesn't look like on the outside, but like it was a chaos monster up here for a lot of years of like, just my nervous system was so dysregulated, and there was a lot of just like, I would never start, like I couldn't finish projects because I was like, it's not perfect. I can't release it because it's not perfect. And that's like why my YouTube channel like kind of fizzled out, because I just was waiting for perfection. And so something with this podcast I'm really thankful for is that, like, I don't know, I just honestly, I prayed that like the perfectionism away. I was like, I just want to just do. And I know maybe someone out there relates to it, that like, even when I don't want to edit, like regardless, the episode goes out on Monday. So like, even if I'm doing it Monday morning, which I have done, if you follow us on Instagram, sorry, but like it's getting done and it's getting out, even if it's not perfect. And like, that's just been super freeing of like, you know, like you will never be perfect ever. So just release the episode, just do it, whatever it is you're looking for. So I'm grateful for that growth of just doing it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, that was a mental hang up for a lot of years. So
yeah, I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Now we're gonna get all that music out because you and Jacob both.
I've thought about that. I've thought about blocking Jacob from my Instagram and releasing songs my brother wrote but never released, and saying, like he needs
as long as
to
they're copywritten.
Yeah, I would never actually do that. But there's so many songs. Well, now I'm in a place where like I want to build up the podcast and YouTube, and then someday it would be really wonderful to outsource the editing, like hire somebody to edit for us. That way I have more than and then maybe I can release like more music because I do think that is a desire of my heart that I feel like God has blessed me with certain skill sets. That sounds like I'm an assassin, but I'm not. Like a certain set of skill sets that like in a way to like write songs. But I was so trapped for so long in like, I just want to be played on the radio. I just want people to like me. I just want that like, there's only like 2 or 3 songs out there for people to listen to that I actually like of my own.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like if I were to release new music, it would be very different.
Yeah.
And it's because like,
I feel like every artist kind of goes through those sort of probably record label things, but even Kelly Clarkson said like it wasn't until her most recent album that she even felt at all like any of her was actually in her music.
Wow. Okay.
It's probably just something in that growth of the early years where you just have to get past that hump.
And you're also like, I was so young.
My battery. Hold on. Keep going.
Yeah. I was just young and cared too much about stupid things. So, and I would like a lot of what was communicated is like, yeah, like just be like larger than life and, you know, wear high heels and, you know, be a really confident leader, which I am a confident leader. And that is a certain skill set that like, I feel like helped me along the way. But like, I think the way I communicate is authenticity. And so like, okay, if I like, if I'm like not wearing high heels, like I kind of felt like I was failing and it was exhausting. So I'm grateful that like, I know who I am now, which is actually, throw this out there, that like, I've actually spent a lot of like edification in my mind and stuff through the last couple of years. Cause it sounds horrible and maybe someone out there relates to it, but I used to like cringe at the name Jesus because like, it was never a hopeful thing that was portrayed to me. It was like a club that people were hitting me over the head with. Like, it wasn't like a positive thing. It was like, oh, Jesus would be very disappointed in your skirt length. Like, you know, it was never really positive. Yeah. And so there's just been like a renewing of my mind, if you will, to quote the Psalms of like, and like that I feel like will translate someday into like music and albums and stuff. And I'll be able to say like, cause there's so many of these, influencers, if you will, who suddenly have music careers. So I'm like, I had a music career first. Podcast came second.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm thankful for just honestly, it's been like a renewing of my mind and who I am, like who God has called me to be. Like, first off, it's pretty great to just say like I'm a child of God. That's pretty great. I'm a daughter of like he didn't lower the bar for me to come in. He didn't make an exception, which is something I struggled with for a long time. I thought like I believed it for everybody else, but I didn't believe it for myself. I thought I was the exception to the rule. I was let in on a technicality or something. And that like, I don't know, like he pursued me because I think and left the 99 for me. I can truly say I feel like that's what has happened. And as long as I keep who I am, who God says I am, like it's most important that I'm a obedient daughter and then a great wife a great mother and then a great daughter and friend to the rest of the family.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything else, like everything else is extra as long as I'm secure in those things. So,
Yeah.
Anyhow,
That's awesome.
that was a lot of rambling.
I love it.
I like getting old.
It's nice. I like it.
I like it too.
You just stop caring.
Well, it's exhausting
In a
being
good
in your
way.
20s.
In a good way. Stop caring.
Yeah. It was a wonderful time. Kind of. But like, honestly, there's like a piece that has come since turning 30 of like I have a man who loves me. And even if I look like complete hobo trash, I'm still 100% getting laid in him, like loved. I don't know, there's just a lot less pressure, and your friends have kind of like, well, I'll make new friends too, but like, you're my friend, and I know like
you've weeded out the friends that are there for not the right reasons.
Yeah.
And you have the friends that don't mind if you wear sweatpants to Friendsgiving.
It is surprising how many friends have just dropped off because I'm not like performing as frequently.
Yeah.
Which is disappointing. But
yeah,
you learn a lot when you stop texting people first.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for you though, Irene.
Oh, thanks.
I'm grateful
for you too.
Sorry, it wasn't on my list, but I'm grateful that we started this podcast together because I just get to talk to my friend and then people like it and then hopefully we'll see what happens.
It's so fun. It's fun.
Yeah. Anything else you want to share that you're grateful for?
I didn't say it because you said it, but also it seems cliche, but like obviously my family.
Yeah. That's like goes without saying.
But it's but now I was like, well, I should probably say it. The obligation to say it, but yeah.
If anybody's thinking like, should I have kids? Like, I don't know. Like, because I let the feminist mindset sink in for way too long. Just have the kids. Like, it's hard for sure. There are definitely things that aren't super fun, but like, she has brought way more positive than any negatives.
Yeah.
So she's, it's fun and she's cool. She's hilarious.
Yeah.
She's a maniac. It's all great.
Bedhead when she woke up from her nap on that FaceTime today. I was laughing out loud because she was so angry that you had the phone in her face and she just like had hair sticking out to the side. She was like, "Who are you?" That was great.
I think I need to start using conditioner or something on her because she's. Oh, can I interrupt this regularly scheduled programming real quick? Did you get my text about EWG and Yucca?
No.
So
yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So I scanned a product on Yucca. I scanned a product on EWG.
Yeah.
EWG says it's bad. Yucca says it's good. Okay. So I'm like, what is the difference? What is going on? But if you go into Yucca.
Yeah, Yucca says Tresemme is good. I am a professional. Do not use Tresemme. Ignore the chemicals and just don't do it.
When you go into like, you click like the info button or whatever, and it highlights the ingredients that they're talking about. They never get to all of the ingredients on Yucca. So I think they just select which ones they want to talk about, which make it a good brand, like a good rating. Yeah. Because like, let's go to this ultra hydrating conditioner. It says it's good. It's the one I bought. I was like, oh, it's good. Oh, it's rated. It's rated a 72 out of 100. Like, all right, can't win them all, but like, let's just see. Then you go to see all ingredients, and then only some are highlighted. So they're only, look at all those ingredients they're not talking about. Yeah. What? And then the same product on EWG, which I know this is exhausting. It sucks being holistic. It's awesome, but like, cause you're in charge and you can decide, but like, it's not easy. Yeah. I can't find it. But that scanned like poor, very poor on EWG. Yeah. So all that to say
do your
is
best and drain your lymphs.
Drain your lymphs. Yeah. I'm going to get a rebounder, like just a little like trampoline to jump on. Mm-hmm. Good. And I think I'm going to start HIIT workout. So
a what?
HIIT, like high intensity interval. because I can have 15 minutes a day to at least run around my yard. So,
good.
Anywho, so should we talk about some tips, like if people are struggling? Because even today, as my house was like chaotic, it might look cute here, but I swept. I had to I literally had like flour. Leo's like yogurt was dried and crusted on the table, and like just a bunch of crap. So like when it gets messy, like then I get in my head really bad about like, oh, like you're just.
Hold on, can you see me?
Yeah.
Because I'm frozen. Am I frozen on your side?
No.
Okay. I don't know what my face is doing because I'm frozen.
Okay. Let's hope that it's not that way. You're not frozen to me, so I'm assuming it's recording on my side. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think recording yours.
Tips for being grateful.
Yes, which I know is a joke and a bunch of memes, but literally I was not in the mood today. And then I got a coffee, and I know there's all these joke memes about good days and bad days. But like, honestly, if I can get a little bit of dopamine from my little coffee, sometimes that's just like the mood boost and caffeine boost I need, which has its cons, I know, but it's a, what is it? Curse of the hairstylist, I guess, or something, where it's like, ugh, had a long day, or ugh, this client's difficult, I need a coffee.
Yeah, but you got through your day, and
I did.
You had to podcast late, and then you're gonna go home and be a mom. So it's giving you energy. So
I'm gonna go home and finish embroidering. So that's another one.
That's awesome.
Find a craft. Because Jacob was talking about it today. He's rebuilding. For those of you that don't know, he's rebuilding his old Jeep, and we finally got it running, and we took it on its first drive outside of like our cul-de-sac. That it's been on the road. It hasn't been on the road in probably 8 or 9 years. So we just drove it across the street to this little gas station and then all the way back. And the whole time it did not get out of first gear. And the floorboard underneath my feet is completely rusted out. So there was a piece of cardboard over it. And if you lifted up the cardboard, you can like see the road underneath. It was fun though. But the fact that it's even driving is crazy. And so Jacob was saying, it's nice to have a hobby that's not that everything's life or death, but, and this is me, he's not this dramatic. These are my dramatic words, but that's not life or death. Like, not like if the podcast doesn't get out, it's not life or death, but it's like, that's something strict we have held to that we want to keep going, or I have a client, and if I don't show up for that client, it's a big deal. Like it's, even though hair is the thing that I love, it's something that I still have to do sometimes. So finding a hobby or a craft that can just take your mind off of what you have to do. But if you're like me and you can't just sit and watch TV because you feel like you're wasting time in life, then a little craft.
I think I found that in sourdough.
Good.
It's just so, like, and my chickens of like, I mean, it's life or death for them, I guess, but like just doing things to be more self-sustained. Like I like learning, which if you would have told younger me that, I think I was just dyslexic and didn't know how I learned. But I love, like, find something find a hobby, learn something new, like, be okay with not being the expert on it. I have to correct Dave sometimes on that. He's like, oh, like, you're loving sourdough? He's like, should we sell it online somehow? And I'm like, dude, just let me enjoy a thing without making it into a business. Like, I love your entrepreneurial spirit, spirit. But, like, if I put everything as a business, I'll never have any joy.
Nothing will fun. Yeah, nothing will be fun.
Yeah.
But it helps too. Like, even if you're just still, like, if I'm embroidering and I'm in a bad mood, I'm getting a creative thing out of me. And it's fun and the colors are pretty. So just doing something so that you're not just sitting there brooding on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. For me, I have to like, there's a verse about it, but I don't remember it, but it's like something about like, take your thoughts captive, you know? Mm-hmm. And I have to do that a lot because like the pathways in my brain that have been hardwired to think negatively because I thought negatively for so long. Yeah. Like sometimes I still have to be like, no, like we're going back over here and we're being happy about, the things that you prayed for. Like, I prayed that I'd be the person that could actually manage our household, and have a podcast, do something we like. And not work for corporate America because that was the worst. And I have to like reframe things all the mind. Like, so I have to like take my thoughts captives and like, and re-dig in pathways of like, no, like, or if like Leo's being really challenging, I'm like, no, she's not giving me a hard time. She's having a hard time. Like, I have to constantly like redirect but it helps me be grateful for what I have, because I'm like, no, I'm like, oh, why could we have just bought a turnkey house? Like, I have to like, you know, paint everything and clean other people's gross coffee stains that are splashed down the hallway. Like, it's like, it's just things that we haven't done yet since we moved in, which I know is gross, but only so much we can do.
Right.
But, like, I'm like, I'm grateful that, you know, I'm grateful for the, you know, the more flexibility of time. You just have to adjust your mindset. Cause like, I remember even when I was still full-time and watching Leo and like managing the house and stuff, I remember I had to, otherwise like I was a really crappy mom and a really crappy wife, and like was passive aggressive and nitpicky and not as like loving as I should have been to my kid. And like, if I can't be in charge of my mouth and my thoughts, then like, like what good am I to my family? Cause like there's a verse, I should have saved it. But I heard it in a podcast the other day that was like, basically like a woman either makes or break her household, like whether she stays home at not, like you're either going to be the fruit of it, or you're going to be you're going to cause the death of it. Like, and so I was like, oh, I have a choice every single day to either bring life to my family or bring death to my family. Yeah. And sometimes like nobody's perfect, but, I try my best that even when like things are frustrating to like speak life into my husband, speak life into my child. Yeah. Hopefully speak life into stuff. So, but nobody's perfect, but try speaking life and taking your thoughts captive. Oh, also, sorry, one more thing. That's kind of in the same thought. There's a Mel Robbins TED Talk that's like 10 years old. Do you know who Mel Robbins is? And she did a TED Talk that was like, it was all very good, but the one thing I remember, and I have used it ever since I watched that TED Talk, and it's been like
you sent it to me once.
Yeah. And she talks about how like, if you're stuck in like, you know, there's fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or whatever, if you're stuck, or even like, I don't know, with seeing all these terrible images online of like the terrible things happening in the world, like take a second and like count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it like redirects your frontal lobe to think about something else. Like you can then replace that thought with something else. So like I do it all the time. Like if I have like an intrusive thought about like, oh, I haven't heard Leo for a couple minutes while she's like, you know, like while I'm doing the dishes and she's, you know, like on the ground, like what if she put something in her mouth and she's choking, and then I didn't turn around because these things. I'm like, you just have to like take those thoughts like captive and be like, nope, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. New thought, my child is happy and healthy and I can see her and she's fine. Like, there's just, that's it. That's all coherent of, all in the same vein of, you are in charge of what you think, and like it is like biblically like, hold on, there's a verse. Let me grab it. For one thing, hold on, give me 2 seconds. Do you want to say what you're thankful for, and I'll find it real quick?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or a thing. Yeah. One of my things is also just eating, because I'm in the middle of it's a Joe Rogan podcast. That's like 500 hours long, but, they're talking about the MTHFR gene, which I have, and I know my son for sure he and I have it. And he was talking over those things, and he said something along the lines of, I'm going to butcher it, but basically you can have all the tools and all of the steps and all of this, but if you don't have the building blocks to get your body to be able to change, then like those tools are no good for you. Yeah. And it's one of those, like, if I've had only coffee, 2 sips of water, no sustenance in the day, I can logically know, okay, I can pray this away, or I can logically know, count, or I can logically start listing off all the things I'm grateful for. But if my blood sugar is down or tanked, there's only so much that my brain can even like hold a solid thought, I guess. So sometimes it is just get a snack. And then if you get a snack and you're still grumpy, then use your tool belt of other things to get you out of the funk. But if you don't have the basic building blocks, you're never going to be able to actually get there. It's like trying to build a house with nothing but your bare hands. It's like, great, there's no hammer, there's no wood, you're staring at an empty lot. So fill your lot with at least some kind of something, sustenance wise.
Send me that podcast.
Okay.
I want to learn about the
gene. So on the gene, this is a side tangent. Can't speak today. But when do we not go on rabbit trails? It's so the MTHFR gene. I know for pregnancy, I was very specific, with the prenatals that I had, which I took through nursing most of the time. I took through almost my entire 5-year-long nursing journey.
Wow.
But not really. I think I stopped after Nova was about a year old, and then I nursed her for another year. So that year really depleted me. Like I made it through both pregnancies without cavities. And then it was that last year of her nursing. That's when all my, I got a cavity and I got all these weird things. Totally my fault, because I let all of my nutritional needs go at that time. But, so I've started just taking that prenatal because I at least know it has the methylated folate that I need. But what I didn't think about is, so in the podcast, he's talking about if you're pregnant, because he goes on to postpartum, but he said postpartum depression shows up, which we know, but maybe some of the listeners don't. Postpartum depression shows up before postpartum. It starts to show up in pregnancy. And even if it doesn't show like mentally or physically in your body, if your nutrients are being ripped the wrong way, it really starts way back in pregnancy. So if you're not supporting yourself during pregnancy, you're much more likely to have it then. Anyways, all that to say, if you have the MTHFR gene and you take a prenatal that has folic acid, it is not only is it not working, but it's actively chipping away. I'm going to butcher it. Listen to the podcast. But it's actively basically stripping nutrients from you because your body can't process it. So it's not like your body can't use it, so it just pees it out. Your body can't use it, and it's causing harm. So when you are not pregnant and you stop taking it, how do you explain it? It's like masking its way through your pregnancy. So you're taking it, so your body thinks you're getting it. And then when you stop taking it, when you're not pregnant, your body just really plummets.
Yeah.
But if you're at least taking a prenatal with methylated folate, when you stop taking it, like you're going to have a dip, but your body had all those building blocks to support it along the way. If that makes any sense at all. But on that note, with the children's vitamins, both of my kids have had a big crash since the cruise, which there we go. There's the cruise. But
can't have an episode without talking about the cruise.
Can't have an episode. I'm just going to make it my life's mission to at least bring it up once for a whole year. No, but we did eat ice cream. We had a good time. We enjoyed our trip. And there's been a big dip. Well, on the cruise, I knew we were going to be with a bunch of people in a new environment. So I grabbed just multivitamins for Jacob and I and the kids. And we took all of these vitamins. And I feel like the crash swing of the kids has been a little bit more. And I know, again, with the mom being the life of the family, I have been a lot more stressed when I get home. So I know that's a part of it. But life is never one specific thing. It's usually like an accumulation of a bunch of little things. Mm-hmm. But as I was listening to that podcast and I thought about the swing, I started thinking back to when we kind of stopped taking the vitamins when we got back. Like we took it a little bit when we got back, and then I just got busy and I forgot. Again, it's a combination of things. But I flipped over 2 of the supplements at the pharmacy, the compounding pharmacy where we get all of our stuff. And one of the children's vitamins has folic acid. The children's, and I didn't think they'd have it in a kid's, like I never even thought to look because I always assumed it's more like a pregnancy thing. So the one that I had been giving them for a month solid has folic acid, which if you have that gene, like upends everything when you stop taking it.
And
then
probably
I
has a lot
flipped over
more outburst.
Mm-hmm. And so the outburst, but then again, like I know they're learning personalities and they're learning to push their boundaries, which is great because I don't want to raise a bunch of rule followers, but if I say to stop, that means you're about to get crushed by a car, so stop. But it's just been different. So I didn't know if it was a growth thing. All of this to say, none of that's really important. But I flipped over 2 of the kids' multivitamins. One of them had methylated folate and one of them had folic acid. So that was an interesting thing.
But the thing is, even with
all the way back to
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was
I
just going all the way back to make sure you have the right building blocks, because for a week now, the kids have been taking the new multivitamin. And a couple days ago, I think it was literally 2 days after I started giving them the vitamin. I got home from work that day, and my mom said, "I don't know what's changed." She said, "But today was the best day we've had so far. Like there were no tantrums, nobody really hit each other. I mean, there's little like squabbles between siblings, but she has, and I didn't tell her that I switched anything, but she said, "Yeah, I don't know, everyone's just in a much better mood these days."
That's awesome.
So sometimes you're just completely depleted of all your nutrients, and while a multivitamin isn't always the way to go for everybody long term, sometimes you just need enough of a boost to get your system going again.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I see both ends. Like, technically, yes, we should be eating such a nutrient-dense diet that we don't need a multivitamin. However, our soils are so depleted and the food we eat are so not as nutritionally dense as it used to be, even if you buy organic, that sometimes we just need to fill in the gaps. And I wish that's something I, regret, which I think I really want to do a mom guilt episode about. It's not the take that you think it's going to be, but like one of the things I want to do different next time is I'm going to take a prenatal all the way through nursing, because I stopped because I was like, okay, I'm eating a nutrient diet.
Okay.
Like, and I eat very balanced, like lots of spectrum nutrients. But like when I stopped taking my prenatal is when I lost most of the baby weight. And so like my theory, and this is nothing else, but that's when I started feeling the worst. So like I might have lost the baby weight because everyone's like, oh, like you're breastfeeding, you'll lose the baby weight so fast. But then I was like 7-8 months in, and I was like, I can tell I'm heavier than I like was before. But I was like, whatever, like I'm okay. I'm I need to be, like I'm keeping a kid alive. And I stopped taking my prenatals, and then we moved. So I was also like moving a lot. And then I like dropped a whole, I feel like a bunch of weight, and I'm like back to what I was before. But nothing's ever really the same, but like it's back to the same ish number. I've always fluctuated like 10 pounds. So like it's like a window. I've always weighed like 155 to 165. And, but I will take prenatals all the way through because I need to start back up, because I feel exhausted. And that's what I'm trying to build up right now, is just energy stores. Because I think that's when you actually like lose the weight from breastfeeding. It's when like basically you're sucking from all of your stores to give to the baby, as it should be. But then I think that's why all of my mom's friends who literally said that have like autoimmune issues, because they basically sucked their stuff dry and they didn't eat nutrient diets. Anyways, that was a bunch of rambling. But tangent is Under the Sun podcast without tangents.
Yeah, fill your tanks. That's the gist of what we're trying to say is fill your tanks and fill it the right way. Because for some people, for some kids, it wouldn't matter that they're getting folic acid. For my kid, one of them specifically, it's very important that we make sure it's the right type.
Yeah. Yep. And it's it's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like if you just need your basics, like you need to be grateful for the basics of like, okay, do you have a roof over your head? Do you have, even if it's not the best food, because I know we can all get really tied up in where it's sourced from, what it's sprayed with, which I'm all about. But like if it's actually making you more stressed, like stop thinking about it and just do the best you can with what you have.
Yeah.
And do you have food to eat? Great, because you need food to eat. You can't just not eat anything because things are sprayed with it. Because like right now I have,
because I've done that before, and that didn't go super well for me. I was so stressed out about eating bad foods that I just wasn't eating, and then that didn't work great either.
Yeah, I mean, I have right now on my counter non-organic apples that are way bigger than they should be. They were on sale for 99 cents a pound. They were 99 cents a pound, which is very cheap for apples. And my kid flies through apples. And I soaked them in all this stuff, washed them. But we can only do the best we can with what we have. We are a single income family. And like, I would much rather buy a quarter of a cow with that budget. Oh shoot, I need to mail out the check to my cow guy. Sorry. Like I'd rather buy a cow than like.
Did you get another one recently?
Yeah, I just picked it up on Monday
or the spring one
or Tuesday. Last Tuesday. Good. I need to pay him. Shoot. But anyways, like you need to, I like what you're saying, like the building blocks, like just be grateful, even like just for the basic things that are, like we have lights on right now. Like I have to like, I have to personally with my mindset, like I have to like bring it back to basics of like, because we didn't have a lot growing up. Like my parents worked their tails off and provided a lot of things, but like, there were
7 mouths to feed.
There's 7 mouths to feed. And I'm like, there's just a lot to be thankful for. And even, so like, I'm going to back up just a little bit. Like I'm grateful for, I prayed for the desire to read the Bible because I've never, it was always like a to-do list thing for me. So I like prayed like, hey, like, I don't do it for hours. Like it doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. It's usually like napping. I'm going to read through this verse while she's nursing before I go, this chapter or whatever. But when you think about gratitude, Job in the Bible, he like basically like the Lord called him he was an upright man. Like God said he was an upright man. So he was a good man. And he offered up, Job to the devil and said like, have you considered my servant Job to go through a trial? And so like the devil then acted on it, killed all of his kids and made all of his servants like forget about him and not want to listen, like leave. And so he was in such grief of like, I think he had like 10 kids or something. He was in such grief that he like, what they did in that time and space is that they shaved their head and ripped their garment to show that they were grieving. But in his grief, like he lost his wife, like, basically it was like sleeping in another room because like I think the verbiage was like, his breath was foul to her or something. But like, basically like she was like, you might as well just curse God and turn away from him because you've lost everything. He's lost his riches. He lost all his kids. They all died. Like, so he's like, you might as well just turn away and curse God is what his wife said. And he tore his garment, shaved his head and fell down and worshiped. Like, okay, he lost everything. If he can do that, if we're just inconvenienced because we're overwhelmed, like, it's just a perspective shift of like, okay, like my kids are, though they're like, maybe having a dip from vacation or like my kid cut some molars, like she is here and God has put me to handle this. Yeah. So, shift your perspective, I guess. But that was a tangent, but oh my gosh, every time I'm like, we're going to do a 20-minute podcast. How are we here for an hour?
I don't know, but I love it.
I don't know. I also need to not hunch.
I know, I've been hunching and like swiveling this whole time. Me and my roller chair.
Any parting thoughts?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that was fun.
Yeah, we're thankful for all of you. Yeah. These. No, I'm not. We're thankful for everybody lining, and the grace you guys give us for like the fluctuation of quality and stuff, and we're grateful for all of you. And if you like this podcast, could you share it with just like one friend if you haven't already this week, or like send it. I don't know. Send it to somebody and say that you like listen it to the end because Anita's going to give you $20. I don't know. But we are going to do a giveaway, so pay attention to our Instagram. Yeah, and we're grateful for everybody, and we hope you have a really happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Thanks for being with us today. Follow us on Instagram at @underthesun_podcast. We'd love to meet you.
Please help us out by subscribing on YouTube and leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'll see you next time. Please remember this information is made available to you for informational and educational purposes only. It is in no way a substitute for medical advice.